Hello, what's up everyone? I'm back with another review, and this will be on the KZ Ling. I believe this costs like 15 bucks or 20 bucks. It's a pretty affordable budget set. So yeah, I mean it has this bullet style fit and finish. It's really light. And it's using a small 6mm driver, I believe. A single dynamic driver. So, not really going to talk much about the build quality or cable because it's just okay. It works. And now let's talk about the sound quality, which is why you should be here. So I'm going to first talk about the sound quality of these, and then I'm going to make a quick comparison with one of the best budget IEMs ever. And we'll see if it's better than the other one. So let's start off with the bass, mids, and then we'll get into the treble. So starting with the bass, this has a good amount of sub bass. So if you listen to sub bass focused songs like rap or hip hop, it's going to be very present. You hear the bass. It's very emphasized, pretty boomy. So if you want a fun bass sound, this has a good sub bass sound. And then the mid bass, I thought this IEM, it sounded okay in the mid bass because drums didn't have that much impact. They didn't sound as clear. I wasn't hearing the drum smacks as clearly as I would with the different IEM. So for sub bass focused songs, this is a decent IEM and it works. But when you switch over to different types of tracks that have more instruments, drums, guitars, it sounds a little not clear. It's a little almost muddy. So that's how the mid bass sounded. And then the upper mids, they're really good, pretty forward. So I hear vocals coming across good. Female voices sound well textured, full bodied. And then male voices, they sound warm. Pretty warm, actually, on these. It's not super clear. It's on the warmer side. So this definitely has like a warm sound going for it. And the treble is definitely not that clear. It's lacking a little bit of extension and air. So overall, this is like a dark IEM because I'm getting a lot of bass, a lot of warmth in the vocals, and then the treble. So let's say you listen to some female voices, let's say Taylor Swift, some pop, Ariana Grande, The Weeknd, or whatever. The vocals will sound a little too warm, slightly muddy. And then the treble is definitely rolled off. So I'd say the strong point of this IEM would be the mid-range. It has a decent tonality in the mid-range, but the bass texture isn't the best, and the treble definitely needs a little bit of work. But I mean, this is only 15 bucks, I believe, around there. So not much to complain about. And then soundstage and imaging. The soundstage is pretty narrow. It's not really open. It's almost in your head. And then the imaging's okay also. So let's say you're listening to like a flute, orchestras. The flute sounds kind of warm. It sounds a little colored. And then if you listen to cello, mandolin, it has the smoother tonality going for it. So maybe if you're sensitive to treble and you want a lot of bass, this is a good IEM for that. So overall, I'd give this IEM probably 3.5 out of 5, which is pretty decent. It's probably the second best budget IEM I've heard. So let's make a comparison now. So this is what the Wanner. This is the best budget IEM you could buy right now. Simply the best I've heard. And I'll explain why. So let's talk about the bass. The bass is a very similar quality in both of these IEMs. Because the Wanner sometimes could lack sub bass, like that bouncy texture in the sub bass. But the Ling has a more pronounced sub bass sound. And then the mid bass, I think the Wanner does it a little better. Drums aren't as thin. I hear all the instruments with better clarity. Not muddy at all, or less muddy than the Ling. And then the upper mid-range, when I'm listening to vocals, the Wanner is definitely better because I hear more breadth in the voices. It's not as warm, and it's definitely not as colored or muddy. So that's the upper mid-range side of things. And then the treble, again, I hear the treble with more extension on the Wanner. And the KZ Ling, to me, the treble sounded a little muted. And I think there's some masking going on with the KZ Ling. It could be the mid bass or something. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, the Ling is definitely more muddy. So if I give the Ling a 3 out of 5 stars, I'll give the Wanner, for the price, 5 out of 5. And regardless of price, for what it does, I'd still give it like a 4 out of 5 because it sounds better than a lot of IEMs that are much more expensive. So who are these for? So if you listen to more instruments, more vocals, you need more clarity. If you want a less of a warmth in your sound, the Wanner's better. The treble, again, more clear, not as masked, more free-flowing. And this reminds me of more expensive IEMs in the tonality. Where the Ling in the tonality, it sounds like a cheaper pair, if you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't remind me of some sounds I get with more expensive IEMs. And timbre-wise, okay, so I guess the Ling maybe has slightly better timbre because it's more warmer. And this doesn't have the best controlled treble, but they're really close in terms of the performance. So yeah, you get the Wanner for more clarity, basically. And if you're sensitive to treble, you want a warmer sound, more warmer, bassy, slightly thin with certain instruments, then I guess the Ling is good. So if you listen to a lot of rap, maybe, or a lot of fun genres, the Ling might be better in the sub bass. But if you listen to more orchestras, large-scale recordings where there's a lot of things going on, that's where the Wanner performs well. And then, so yeah, the tonality, I'd rate it maybe like a B-. It's just okay. And I'd give the Wanner like a B+. So it's pretty obvious the Wanner is better. And then technical performance-wise, I'd give the Ling like a C. It's pretty average, C. And then the Wanner I'd give around a C+. So yeah, those are my views on these two IEMs. The Wanner does have a detachable cable, which is pretty useful. And personally, I'm not a fan of bullet-style earbuds because usually the fit isn't that great. And I don't get like a comfortable position in my ear. like not a secure fit. So yeah, here you guys have it. These two. So overall, this is still the best budget IEM I've ever heard, hands down. Nothing really beats it, subjectively and objectively. It's just really, really good. And that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully this was helpful in making a purchase decision. And stay tuned for more content. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.